new thing by Yachty, right? So if you look at Lil Yachty. So Lil Yachty supposedly has a sunglass company that he's interviewing Drake, or he did interview Drake for, which is kind of interesting. And Yachty has like this interesting place in hip hop where I don't even know how to sum it up. Like, he's always been the brand friendly guy who's like, could be on a Gap shirt or could be promoting Gap. Cool enough though that kids want to follow him and be like him a bit. But everybody in the industry kind of looks at him, but don't look at him like a geek. Like, he's been in a really dope place, but also as the years have gone by, I think his music, I think Yachty's just Yachty. I don't think Yachty's defined all the time by his music, but this time around, he flipped his music style around. And I seen he was on Rap Radar. Let me see, Elliot. And apparently he did an interview with Elliot Wilson, and this is what our portion of it said. Let me see this. And he was talking about numbers. So if you don't know his album, right, despite everyone, like, I feel like he's having a moment right now. But when his album dropped, Lil Yachty, first week sales, let me see what it says. Yeah, so he dropped an experimental project, and it's called Let's Start Here. It sold 31,500, right? A lot of people felt like that was a little bit low. They believe Yachty should be doing more. Obviously, people like Glorilla was selling more, and they just feel like, yo, Yachty, you're like one of the OGs of this new wave. You should be doing a lot more. But a lot of people, even with acknowledging those sales might have been low, they're saying that Yachty is like super. He's in like a creative bag, and maybe we've just always undersold or underappreciated how dynamic and how creative he was. Like, number one, he was writing for the City Girls, so all their hits he probably wrote, right? He had, of course, his hits that he wrote, but we got to realize he started dabbling in production. He started executive producing stuff. By the way, Drake's album Her Loss, he executive produced. He started producing beats. He's kind of like expanding like his palette, but also he's almost become like a creative director. He's like Pharrell of he's like the young Pharrell of like music. Like, he's a creative director of vibes for like music, you know what I mean? Whatever his contribution was to this Drake and 21 Savage project was pretty good, and I think people have been looking at him like, damn, maybe we kind of, underestimated this guy, right? Anyway, some people still look at it and say, well, if he's all what y'all think, why do the numbers look like that? And he did this interview where he was talking about numbers. This is what he said.
Numbers just rule everything.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Even other things.
First week numbers, Pitchfork rating numbers. Like, who? I hate saying who cares because I still care, right? But like, and it's just honest. But like, fuck, why? Why the fuck do numbers consume everything? Like, numbers make people even not listen to a project. Numbers that make someone album could be beautiful, and someone could be like, man, they did this first week. Like, oh yeah, nah, that flopped. Never mind. I ain't even gonna tap into it.
That isn't.
And how do you as a human? Like, a week isn't even enough. Maybe with the music people make now, but like, my album is a week isn't even enough time to consume it. You gotta
really absorb it and understand
you gotta
it, right?
really sit with it. Like, that's why I never understood people doing reviews the same day. Like, how do you review this album? And I was one listen, your review and your rating. I try not to take too serious, but I won't sit there like I've seen every review. Yeah. It ain't a review. If I haven't seen it, you just have no kind of problem. 'Cause I done read everyone's ideas and opinions, and I respect them, and I've even reached out to a lot of people and telling like, man, like, maybe it wasn't for you, but I appreciate this, But I just hate numbers, but I wish there was a depth to numbers, and there'll never be a depth to numbers because numbers don't lie,
right?
And it's just the truth.
All right, yeah, that's kind of interesting. My take on this whole thing, right, is that I think artists got to stop complaining about numbers, right? The numbers are what they are. And yes, the numbers do like context, but the numbers will prove if you're doing something that's really special. It's the reason why, for example, nobody likes if the first week projection comes out and says you're not doing good, no one likes it. But if you're projected to do 50,000 after the first day, and after the fourth day, you're projected to do 65,000, they love to point out the growth. Why? It shows that there's The numbers are going to highlight the fact that there's a change in the culture based on the music. And that's what the numbers do. The numbers just signifies who's consuming it. Let me ask you this question, right? This inherent question that goes outside music. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears, does it make a sound? You could answer that to yourself. Then let me ask you this with music. If someone makes the most amazing music ever, but no one listens to it, is it that amazing? You answer that shit for yourself too. The point is, in music and in the music business, your music is meant to be consumed. You're not just making great music in a vacuum and don't care who hears it. Otherwise, you would have some artists, well, maybe some of them do, because some of them, I'd be like, yeah, they don't release music. You would, if you're not making it for the masses to consume, you would just make the music and just keep playing in your AirPods or share it among your friends. But don't disseminate it to the public. When you disseminate it to the public, no one says they want only 50,000 people to listen to it, or 5,000 or 15. You want everybody to listen to it. Now, granted, it's a very complex equation, because now we're talking about the music of the business of music. And it's not only how good the music is, you got to talk about is how hard the label is going. Is the label promoted the right way? Are they using the right strategies, the right single? Was there a viral moment? Was there a hit single? Like, there's a lot of things that could really contribute to it. But here, this is what I say to artists who claim they care about the actual art and they feel numbers are detrimental. Numbers aren't detrimental. It should be a barometer, right? To me, you're not defined just only by your first week. When an artist like Yachty, when I see his first week, I'm not thinking his first week is just for this project. His first week is usually based on his consumption for the last 2 years. It's the reason why I personally believe Lil Baby's album was mid, but it still sold 200,000. Why? His last project was spectacular. The last time we came to the shop, it was some piff. We gonna come back, even if the next thing you give us is mid. So again, well, sometimes artists want everything to be judged in a vacuum, but no. It's a reason why momentum exists. And the numbers are going to follow that. If you're consistently putting out good music, better music, the numbers will increase. If your numbers aren't increasing, you're either inconsistent or you're not no matter what you think. Because here we get into this conversation of certain artists will believe that their music is so pure that even if everybody says it's trash or mid, they feel it's spectacular. And this is where, artistry and judging it comes into, the discussion. Because some people might be like, yeah, I don't care if y'all like this. This is some next level shit. This is genius, right? You can have that opinion. And I don't think people are ever arguing with people over their opinions like that. But you know what numbers help us do? I just looked at the number yesterday. There's 163,000 songs being uploaded to Spotify every day. Every day. 163,000 new songs. Every day. If I'm a consumer and I pay $10 or $12 to have the access to the entire library of Spotify, right? And Spotify has all these songs. And I only have 24 hours a day. And by the way, here's the thing too. Sometimes musicians look at fans like listening to music is a job for them. No, it's usually recreation. It's usually done in passing, and sometimes it's just done when people are trying to have fun. So it's technically just impossible for fans to listen to everything. So fans need a way to weed shit out too, right? There might be an amazing song right now with 0 plays. But here's the problem, or not here's the problem, but here's the thing I can definitely co-sign. If you drop a fucking amazing product and you can't even promote it to get a few people to listen to it, the song might not suck, but you suck as an artist and as a person in the music business. It all matters. So again, music, numbers has to count. Like, everybody uses numbers. Again, Yachty sold 31,000. You know how you can tell if his album's good? Right? Like say you're on Mars for these 6 months while his album drops. It was consumed and equivalated to be 31,000 first week. If you get a chart of how that album does over time, and usually what happens is you have a first week and then there's a decline. If his album, instead of going down, either stays stagnant or perhaps goes up, it's easy to tell. Like, yo, this is something that is probably great, because the hype actually, the quality outweighed the hype. So I love to watch albums that go platinum in a year. You know what that means? Quality outweighed the hype. You know who does that a lot too? YoungBoy shit goes platinum and gold months after. or like a year after it sold like 30, 40,000 the first week. What does that mean? There's a certain sector of fans who've been listening to that project consistently, even though they only sold 30,000 first week. They have been listening to it every week for 52 weeks. Now it's diamond, or not diamond, but platinum or gold. So I think artists got to take into accountability, man, that like the numbers are used by your label to promote you. You can't get mad at the fans when they use it to weed out what to listen to. Like if I go on somebody's SoundCloud, like yo, I'm a fan. Like it's not my job to listen. Like sometimes artists kind of feel like they're a little too preppy. Like, well, listen to everything I drop. No, motherfucker. Nigga, you're dropping 50,000 songs. If I go to your catalog, if I want to see if you're a lit artist or not, I'm not going to listen to all 50,000 songs. I'm probably going to go to your popular releases on Spotify and listen to the first 5, maybe 10. And that's going to tell me all I need to know about you. Because I don't got time. Just like how you don't have time for many shit. And I think artists has to understand that. Somebody says, somebody said 50 cents the reason why numbers are a thing. Yes, but I do believe that numbers were gonna eventually be a thing. Rappers brag too much about things having to do with sales, things having to do with platinum and things like that. And we're in a information era. Back then when 50 Cent was talking about it, he was only getting the sales from one source, which was Nielsen SoundScan. That was a subscription-based report that only labels got. And you had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a subscription because it gave an elaborate breakdown on the demographics of the music you were selling. These days, you could get a rough number of what people are selling for free. So again, the internet caught up with what was privileged. That's it. Just like, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, if you wanted to take a picture and have a copy of a picture, probably had to take it on an old ass Kodak camera that maybe had a memory card. You had to have that memory card, upload the memory card, export the pictures, like maybe convert the pictures to something your computer could read. Then you gotta like fucking copy the pictures, and like you probably could even attach them to email at that point. These days, you post it to Instagram and don't even matter if you lose your phone or whatever, it's there forever. It's technology. You can't hate technology. So it's not sales ruin everything because we're in a technology era. We're in a technology era. Without fans being that savvy to know what someone's selling, you wouldn't have streaming. Like a lot of people, when they're watching YouTube, they like to see, oh shit, this is one of the trending videos. They look at the views. When YouTube recommends a bunch of videos and you see a video with 1 million in a day, you're probably gonna be like, oh, this is probably fire. It's humans. We're humans. We use that to save time. Anyway, so I disagree with Yachty with that just because I don't think numbers are ruining music. I think sometimes artists could get in their head about the numbers, but I always say fame is fleeting. So if Yachty sold 100,000 3 years ago, it doesn't mean he's entitled to sell 100,000 all the time. He needs to keep maintaining that level or elevate that level to sell 100,000 or more. And you're going to have some dips. You're going to have ups and lows. There's times that I come on here and shit, you know, fortunately for us these days, we usually have a good amount of people that's watching our stream. But sometimes I come on and I'm like, damn, stream numbers ain't really hitting right now. Shit. And then there's something that happens and it's hitting. Fuck it. You know what I mean? You go through ups and downs. You can't blame the numbers. You just got to stay dedicated to what the task is. That's if you really just only care about the music. The numbers will follow. You get what I mean? Like, and that's an advice to anyone, whether you want to be a musician or whether you want to like be a streamer. Focus on making a great content. The numbers will follow. I don't believe, honestly, that there's anyone who's decent at business and marketing that's making fucking amazing music that just doesn't get any type of traction or that music doesn't help them to grow. Let me get through a few things. Somebody said core fans are low numbers. Well, I think that's also happening too now, right? So people are having low core fans, right? Like a lot of these artists, their core fans aren't that much. And also their core fans don't buy, they stream, right? So Yachty might have 100,000 core fans, but his core fans are probably streaming, not buying. Youngboy might have 400,000 core fans, but are they all buying? No, they're streaming. So again, you just got to be happy for what it is, because it is what it is, man. All right, anyway.